friends. It has been a minute since we've been together, and the reason is I don't have anything really to show you. Life has been busy, but there's really nothing going on the homestead. But I just spent the last half hour walking around my homestead, taking note of everything going on, and thought to myself, why didn't I bring you guys along? So we're gonna redo it with you guys with us. So I think this is going to be a heavy weekend of videos. So this is going to be exciting. Currently I have some beef broth. It just got started. So I've been skimming off the foam, but I got some beautiful beef bones from my local butcher today. Whoopsie. Look at that. So they had some meat on them, so they're already looking pretty good. They cooked, oops, I'm making a mess. But they cooked off all the meat that was on them. I'm just going to stop while I'm ahead. They cooked off all the meat that was on them. So I'm going to let them go for the next rest of the night. It's 5 o'clock now. They've been going for an hour. And this is going to get turned into French onion soup. I'll bring you guys along when I make this. I think I brought you guys along before, but I'll bring you guys along again because why not? French onion soup is something I've been using as a medicinal item. I love me some French onion soup in general, but the last 2 times I've used it medicinally, and my mother used it as well. I think it worked wonders. So I was getting a cold a couple weeks ago. I ate my French onion soup. The whole kit and caboodle, the onion soup, the cheese, and the bread, and it was delicious. But onions are immune boosting. I'm gonna mess this up. They're like anti-infection. Onions are really, really great for helping you when you're sick. I forget all those specifics at this point, but they're really, really great for helping you when you're sick. And so I think that the onion soup really helped put me over the edge when I was having my sickness. And then with my mom, she had a really bad cold, and she was kind of on the other side of it. And I think that she had a cup, and she also thinks that when she was done drinking like her bowl of it, it made her feel better, and just gave her a little bit of like extra like energy. So I am making my own bone broth. Bone broth itself is incredibly medicinal. You're getting all the collagen, all the nutrients out of those bones. The bones are filled with bone marrow, so I'm really going to get all of that out. I'm going to get those bones for everything that they're worth, and then turn that into our French onion soup that we're going to can together. So I'm excited. But that'll be a different video. Today's video is I'm going to take you down. I'm going to show you how great our plants down. Oopsie. I have too much stuff in this little stairwell. I'm going to take you down and show you how great all of our plant starts are doing. The one thing I did wrong this year is I started my brassicas too late. So brassicas are your cabbages, your broccoli, your cauliflowers, your Brussels sprouts. For one, I started them too late. And I'll show you them. We're gonna go outside. I'll show you them. But for 2, I started Brussels sprouts. They were growing. I lost them. I have no idea where they are in this mess of plants. And it's not that I don't know where they are. Like, I have looked through this mess of plants for the Brussels sprouts, and they're not here. So they walked off. I don't know where they walked off to, but they have walked off. But let's go in here and take a look at my petunias. Look at those petunias. Look at those. I want to brush them, but I can't because I have you in one hand. I'm holding it up with the other. So the germination rate, as you can see, is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But we have some. So I'm happy that I got some. And then what is doing so good under this glass lid, I'm going to do this again next year because this has done wonderful things. I can't say enough about this. Look at my geraniums. Look at them. How many there are in there? So they were started in January, and my experience with geraniums is that they take forever to grow. Under that, they're having no issues. So I made a mistake. I forgot how big nasturtiums get. So my nasturtiums are more than ready to go outside. But we have two different types of poppies here. I'm really excited for these poppies. And then these are all, I think, tomatoes. Whole bunch of different types of tomatoes back there. And so when you come through, I just like to pet them. Oops, I maybe did that a little bit too rough. Just pet them a little bit later than what I just did. These are peppers. So this here, and then largely this section over here is peppers. Here are my zinnias and my cosmos. These are candy cane zinnias that have not done anything. And candy cane zinnias are these really pretty, like, striped ones. And these are not old seeds, but they have done nothing. So I'm going to need to buy some new seeds tomorrow. Down here, this is the new section here. All of this, the 6-pack trays, are beets. These are begonias that I started. See if I can get light to show you. You can't really see. You can see a little bit of green in the camera, but there's a lot of green in there. I started these begonias back in December, I think. They're taking forever. And then back there, I have a couple of different types of peonies there. My first eucalyptus that I've ever had is right there. Here is Gomphrena that I'm really excited about. I'm hoping that is going to grow. And my marigolds are also not doing anything this year, but I'm hoping that I'm going to get some more seed for them too, because they're not doing anything. But then over here we have more flowers, zinnias, and straw flowers. I've never had my straw flowers germinate, and I ordered these seeds from Johnny Seeds, and having great success there. And there's some zinnias and zinnias. So a lot of flowers for sure. Tomatoes, peppers, all of my petunias. So I try to start everything that my homestead needs. So I have my food items, but I do really love to have flowers everywhere. And flowers are expensive. So I have a ton of flowers that I've started. My petunias. I started pansies. That's a lot of the reason why I have a lot of empty cells. My pansies did literally nothing. I need to figure out why I don't get my pansies to do anything, but I didn't get a single germination out of multiple different types of pansies. So I think it's a me problem and not a pansy problem, but I don't know what it is. But my petunias are something, I throw petunias everywhere. I have 2 towers that live on my back stoop. They're solely petunias, and I think each tower holds like 36 petunias. 3, 6, 9, 10, 12, 15 petunias. 15 to 20 petunias. So that's a lot of petunias if you're buying them. So I'm so excited that I have the ones downstairs. I think that's going to save me a ton of money filling up my towers. And then we have straw flowers, we have zinnias, we have cosmos. I haven't started my sunnies yet. I'm having an issue with my marigold, so again, I'm going to try to buy new seed. My marigold seed is old, but again, I'm not getting any germination, and marigolds grow super easily. So I'm not really sure what's happening there either. Obviously, user error and or old seeds. So I'm going to get some new seed for that and see if I can get some of them started. Because again, I do put a lot of marigolds everywhere. So, and they're not too expensive. A couple 6-packs would maybe $10. So it's not the end of the world if they don't germinate. What is the end of the world, and I'm so upset about, is this. This is my planter of orange yummies, or I think they're called like lunchbox snacking peppers. I call them orange yummies, and not a single thing. I know last year I struggled with germination, but I got them to germinate. This year, again, not a single one. So I think my seed is old. But again, I don't really know. My seed didn't germinate. And every other pepper at least is giving me something. Some are a little bit on the sketchy side, like on the not sketchy, but like shrimpy side. Like they didn't give, like I planted 10 seeds, 2 germinated. My pepper seeds are old in general. Probably 3 years old at least. But the orange yummies I thought would have still done something. They did nothing. So orange gummies are my favorite type of pepper. I typically plant no less than 5 of them. So those at this point I am going to have to purchase, which again, it is what it is. Life happens. I'm growing a ton of stuff. I'm really happy with everything that I'm growing. So if I have to buy a couple things, I have to buy a couple things. But I was really upset that it's my favorite pepper and they're not growing. But in case you don't know, in case you noticed, we are missing a big percentage of my plant population. So let's go outside. Here on my brassicas, we already have these puppies outside. So let me talk about some things I did wrong, some things I'm doing, some thoughts. Let's talk brassicas for a second. So I did something that I tell you guys not to do, and I did it myself this year. I know my timetable. I know when I need to start plants for my growing conditions from when I put them outside. I know when I do what. Or I know when I do what I need to do. This year, I second guessed myself, and that was dumb of me. I know for me, I need to start my brassicas at sometime in January, whether it's early January, mid-January, sometime in January. I didn't do that. I started them when I start everything else, which is in around Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is when I start my tomatoes and my peppers. If I do eggplants, tomatillos, that kind of stuff. That is when I started these plants. So these plants are about 4 weeks old, and they are just starting to put on their, I guess this is my broccoli. My broccoli largely has its germination leaves and its true leaves. So they're just starting to put on their true leaves. This is my cabbage. This is my cauliflower. You can see my cauliflower is looking pretty good. It has a lot of its true leaves on it. And if you're not familiar, so this is a good example here. Right here, this plant right here. These are its germination leaves. This is when the seed germinates, it sends up its shoot. That's this leaf. Its true leaves are the actual leaves identified as a cauliflower. So you can see how these leaves look different. So you don't really want to go messing with a plant before it started to set up its true leaves. So these have just started. You can see here are my kohlrabi. And these are just starting. Everything that you're seeing is largely its germination leaves. It's just starting to put on its true leaves, and they're so tiny you can barely see them. So my plan for this weekend was I was going to take a day each day this weekend to up pot all of my plants. So here is purple cauliflower, here is broccoli, cabbage, kohlrabi, and I have a yellow cauliflower. And Brussels sprouts have gone MIA. My plan was to up pot these, and they weren't ready to up pot before this week. I was going to try to up pot them last week, and they didn't have any of their true leaves. Like this true leaf growth is largely within the last week. I put them on a heated mat. I had them under the light. I've really been trying to hurry them along. So I had every intention of up potting them this week. Let me stand you back up, guy. And we're right around March 14th today. So first of all, I get my snap peas in the ground around March 17th. So I can put them in the ground any day now. And I'll start with probably next weekend. I'll get my lettuce tower together and I'll get my lettuce planted. I'm going to take you down and show you my lettuce down in the garden right now. But I'm going to start my spring lettuce tower. And then these guys will go in the ground no later than March 31st. And March 31st is honestly on the late end of things. Our weather right now is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous weather. These plants could live outside in this weather. And at this point, I don't think we're going to get a snow. I don't think we're even going to get a heavy frost at this point anymore. So these plants can go in the ground. So if I were to up pot these like my plan was, they would go into shock for me and up potted. And then they would take probably about a week to kind of, okay, we've been moved, our roots have been disturbed, okay, we're solid, we're good, let's start growing again. And then I would be hardening them off to go outside. And so I just don't think I have enough time between when I want to get them in the ground and all the things I need to do to them to do what I want to do. So I'm not going to up pot them. I'm in the process of hardening them off, and then they're going to go from here directly into the ground. They're going to shock, and they're going to shock regardless. So I'm going to take the chance, and I'm going to put them in without up potting them. They don't have the root systems that I want them to have. They're not as big as I want them to be, but I started them too late. I, for some reason, didn't trust myself, and so I started them about 4 weeks too late. These should be 8-week-old plants, and they are not. So that sucks for me. But again, I have a ton of plants, and I do think that these can be hardened off and put outside and grow just fine. They're going to shock. I think I would expect pretty hard, but they'll come back. So this is my first time putting these outside to harden off. I'm just going to leave these outside for an hour today. I have them in direct sunlight. And I'm just kind of petting them. Every time I walk by them, I just kind of pet them. And I'm going to leave them out for an hour. And then over the course of this weekend, I'm going to, probably just honestly this weekend do an hour. And then throughout this next week, bump it up a little bit, an hour and a half, 2 hours. With the goal that today's March 14th, within about a week and a half to 2 weeks, I can have these puppies in the ground. And I do have a trellis system, or not trellis system, a hoop system put up so that if it would get cold, I can cover them with plastic to keep them from getting frosted on. But if these were ready, these could honestly go in the ground right now. The weather is ready for them. I'm ready for them. So I'm not going to up pot them, and we're just going to put them directly in the ground, and we're going to see what happens together. Last year I had a massive sluggo. The sun is really bright. Last year I had a massive sluggo problem, or slug problem. They ate all these plants when I put them in the ground. So I'm going to use this next week while I'm hardening these off. I got sluggo. I'm going to put sluggo out there. I'm going to put beer out there. Slugs love beer. It kills them. I'm gonna give them some beer offerings, get them nice and drunk, and then send them off to their heavenly homes, and hopefully get my garden like completely rid of slugs, so that I can plant these guys out there with no issues. So fingers crossed. Okay, now let's go down in the garden. So everything is coming up. We've had a really warm March. I think the end of February for us got really warm. So it's been really great. So everything is starting to come up. We have tulips and irises and daffodils and hyacinths popping up. So the garden is largely empty. There's not much going on. In the strawberry bed, we do have strawberries starting to wake up. I have some work that we're going to do. We talked about before. I need to have this bed remade. This is going to be my onion bed. I'm going to get the wood for that tomorrow. But what I wanted to show you, this is our stack of our pile of lettuce seeds. Look how good these are doing. We started these about 3 to 4 weeks ago, and they have germinated and they are doing great. I'm going to cover them back up. They're calling for rain, I think, tomorrow or Sunday. So I'm going to open these up. I'm going to open this up for a little bit on that day just to get a little bit of rain. It is moist enough because you can see that this tub it has condensation, but I keep opening it to see what it looks like, and I'm letting out the condensation. I'm letting out the humidity that's in there. So I'm going to open up, let it get a little bit of rain, and then close it back up so they can keep growing. But that's going really well. And then I have one little cabbage down here. I guess I have two. I didn't see that one. I have two. So that's cabbage. This is broccoli. The broccoli didn't do anything. This is dry. I don't know why this dried out, but this did dry out. So I did open those containers. We'll see if those two little cabbages do anything. It's exciting that they're growing. The broccoli didn't do anything. So that was an experiment that the broccoli didn't work. The cabbage worked a little bit. The lettuce worked really well. So we are going to be in lettuce very, very soon. And then I wanted to show you. So I planted in my farm, or in my flower farm, I planted tulips last year. Let me show you what it's going to look like. Look at all of the tulips. So I pulled the straw back off of these, and so that's going to be so beautiful when they bloom. So I did this bed, and I did this bed, the top half with tulips. The bottom half I put ranunculus, and so far they've done nothing. So I'm hoping they're just a little bit of a late bloomer. But I'll end this video showing you all of the stuff that's grown at the top of the garden patio. So gorgeous. I'm so excited. But first of all, let's talk about this peach tree. That's massive and beautiful. Look at how good this looks. This tree looks amazing. But if we scroll over here, so we have a couple grasses coming that I need to come rip out. I actually don't think I'm going to rip them out because I don't know what is what. I think I have a habit of ripping out plants that are plants and not grasses. But look how good everything looks. In no time at all, that space is going to be bursting with color. And I am so excited. So I just want to bring you guys along to show you an update. We haven't been together in a while, so I thought you guys deserved an update on how everything is doing. And I am just itching to get outside. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for spring to be here. I'm ready for summer vegetables. Tonight for dinner, I am pulling out my last bag of frozen cherry tomatoes and some boars and cheese and making a cheesy tomato pasta dish. My last bag of frozen cherry tomatoes. So next year I need to add some more to my list. But it's gonna feel like it's summertime, even though it's not. And this is perhaps the most exciting news of all time. If you are like me, you will understand why this is the most beautiful thing in the world. I have been sleeping with my bedroom window open. It's so good. I get such a high off of walking into a room with windows open. I don't know what it is, but it just fills me with an indescribable joy. In the past 4 or 5 nights, the window has been open in my bedroom 24/7, and I've been sleeping with it open, and it makes me such a happy girl. It's one of my favorite things in the universe. Sleep with the bedroom window open, hear the birds chirping when you wake up, hear the rain when it's raining. Oh, it's a beautiful time to be alive. Thank you guys for joining me on this just real quick catch-up video. I'm hoping to bring you guys along tomorrow I think it's tomorrow, to do our French onion soup that we're going to can up. And we have a whole bunch of other things we're going to do for the freezer. So I'll see you guys in just a few days. Bye, friends.